Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. As I always say every week, I think it's so important. I want to make sure that each and every person listening walks away with nuggets, right, that you can use in your daily practice to change the game, to change the outcome of your year. That's the goal for all of us, right? It's a win win. So, first off, I know we were a couple minutes late, so I want to apologize. We're going to make this well worth your while. I can promise you that. And we're going to have a question of the day at the end when we wrap up, like we always do every week. Whoever answers first and correctly, okay, I'm going to ask one question, and the first agent to answer correctly wins a set of Apple AirPods and the new IUL prospecting book from Stonewood on us, okay? And let me just say, everyone could be a winner, okay? And here's why. You're probably saying, Bill, what do you mean everyone's a winner? Well, is this a gray area? No, everyone's a winner. And the reason why, yes, you're going to walk away with nuggets. Number two, go to our Facebook page, leave a review, share a few comments about working with Levinson, okay? Facebook page or Google reviews page, your choice. And I will give you a copy for free of the Tim Grover, New York Times bestselling Relentless book, okay, on me. And that book is a game changer. If you were at our expo, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's all about being relentless. Tim Grover was Michael Jordan's life coach, Kobe Bryant's former life coach. If you haven't heard of him, you need to check him out. The guy's a beast. And I hate to sound like I'm plugging Tim Grover's book, but it literally changed my life. And it's funny, last night I got an email. So when you think about, our agents and the carriers we work with, our largest term insurance carrier, in fact, the largest term insurance carrier in the world, legal in general, Banner Life, right? I had the CEO of distribution in the U.S. sitting in our conference room. In fact, that's how we got to the point where we're adding Banner Life to our Insure Me Now Direct platform. So anyway, he's sitting in our conference room, and I said, Farron, I said, you got to check out this book. At the time, I was like 80% through, and I said, it's called Relentless by Tim Grover. He sends me an email last night. He's like, Bill, that was the best thing I could have done. I just finished the book. I know exactly what you're saying now. I can relate. And I just thought that was kind of cool, coming from him, right? He's responsible for the entire U.S. So anyway, wanted to share with you all. Make sure you leave a review, and I'll send you a copy on us. Even if you don't, that's fine. Go to Amazon Audible. You can listen to it, or obviously purchase. I think the hard copy is like $20 or $30. So check that out when you can. I think he's got two, Relentless, and the second one is called Winning. Both New York Times bestsellers. Anyway, let's get back on track. What we're talking about today is being relentless, right, in the IUL space, right? Lots of money to be made here, lots of families to help, lots of retirement plans to furnish, right, by bringing up IUL. And we all have heard about this AG49 ruling. In fact, became effective May 1st, and it has to do with allocations and bonus and how it's treated differently. And a lot of carriers are changing some of the guidelines. In fact, some are changing products because of this. It's important you know the ins and outs. So I decided to bring on best of the best, Stonewood, okay, who also, it's great because number one, we have an exclusive contract with them where we can give our agents a co-op discounted price if you want their sales software presentation system, or as long as you're an active agent, you can literally call into any of our marketers and we can run a Stonewood illustration for you. Okay, so it's a win-win. Plus, they have awesome IUL prospecting books that tee up the sale and appointment for you. Okay, it's all done in layman's terms. It explains everything to your client to where they literally will call you and say, Bill, let's talk more. Can you meet me at Starbucks 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, whatever it is. So they have a awesome turnkey sales platform when it comes to IUL. If you're a insurance agent, I don't care if you're focused on term, final expense, estate planning, IUL, and whole life, whatever it is, okay, if you're not talking about IUL in one way or another, or not crushing it with IUL, right, you're doing something wrong. I'm telling you right now, we have seen on the average, right, cases from 17,000 to about 40,000 of target annual commissionable premium. So lots of money to be made. We had a record case come in last year, just over $1 million of target premium. I mean, game changer. It was our largest case in history. So you got to be talking about this stuff. And I feel at Levinson, we have a nice platform for you. Most of this is free. As long as you are active with us, you got to jump in and just know enough to be dangerous. And that's why we brought Tyler from Stonewood on with us today. You're going to hear from him just a few more minutes. Real fast, I want to dive into our testimonials and talking about the Relentless book from Tim Grover. It's funny because I was talking about Farron's email last night. This top left comment here, or this was actually a text message from Ian in California, right? He was at the expo. In fact, he was on our agent panel, and he wrote me, and I copy and pasted it, and I said, Andrew, we got to share this on the webinar. It says, appreciate you. Thank you for everything you do. And then he put hashtag relentless. And then he says, P.S. if you're not using Ringy in 2023, you're driving in reverse around New York City, Ian. So I always say that, right? I learned about that from Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, the social media guru. Anyway, you got to check this stuff out, folks. It works. Between the Ringy CRM tool, between our lead programs, which is what Ian is using, okay, and obviously if you're in the IUL space or want to be, the Stonewood software is second to none. It's the only carrier compliant sales software program for IUL, period. Okay, so you're in the right place. Top right-hand corner, we finally got this life policy placed. Charisma was most helpful. Please, thank you for your help on this. Please tell Joshua I appreciate his efforts as well. The entire team is awesome. Thank you, Monica. And then on the bottom, the service is terrific. Paola speeded up the process to help me pay my E&O. Much thanks. So the point is, whatever it takes, we're here for you. We're not perfect, okay? I'm going to say 99%. And for the 1% time, we're not perfect. If we make a mistake, if the carrier makes a mistake, which does happen, me and Carrie, the owners, are here for you. Pick up the phone, call us, email us. Hey, Bill, what time works? Can we chat? Okay? We'll always do whatever we can to make it right for you. All right, next slide here is I was just talking about this. It's funny, before we jumped on with Tyler, so our 2023 Expo, we absolutely crushed it. Okay, record number of attendees, the most we've ever had. It was a fantastic day. We had a special message from Tim Grover, the author of Relentless. It was just a relentless kind of day. And I think I know we have hundreds of people on right now. If you were there, I think you'll agree with me. We absolutely killed it. And I am so thankful because we would never be able to crush it if it wasn't for you, our agent, right? And we would never be in this spot. So I'm so proud of this. We just launched our video, our highlights from the expo, all of our pictures in the photo album. It's all on our website, and we're going to include this in our thank you email this afternoon that you'll receive. In fact, you'll also receive the information if you want to sign up with Stonewood and information about the prospecting books and everything else we're going over today. Okay, next slide. We're very excited about this. Lots of great feedback. We launched our new revised, revamped LevinsonAssociates.com website. Very proud of this website. If you've been with us a long time, you know we were the first IMO, the first life insurance broker to have a quoting engine over 20 years ago. Okay, we teamed up with iPipeline, rolled it out. So you fast forward to today, another first. We are the first one to incorporate a scorecard for our agents. Okay, it doesn't cost you anything. So as soon as you log in, you literally click and you can see all of your production. You can benchmark where am I against the other 22,000 Levinson agents. We made things very streamlined, very user-friendly, very simple. We even have a search bar function now. Okay, you can literally type in Stonewood and everything related to the Stonewood platform comes up. You can type in AG49, everything related to AG49 is going to come up in front of you, so you don't have to waste any more time searching through pages and links. And it's going to take you 10 minutes to find something now that's going to take you 3 seconds. So very cool. Check it out when you can. We also did the same thing with our mobile app. Okay, so check out both. Make sure you have the mobile app on your smartphone because you never know who you're going to run into. Okay, you're grocery store shopping, whatever it is. You're at the mall, right? And you should always introduce yourself, right, as a retirement planning professional or, final expense guru, whatever it is. Okay, take out your phone, run a quote. You can literally submit a drop ticket, okay, and then through Insure Me Now Direct, get an instant approval, all from your smartphone in real time fashion. So you got to be up to speed with technology and what Levinson has to offer. The next slide here, I know it gets very overwhelming with all of our tools and platforms in the life and the annuity side and long-term care and DI. So we simplified your entire world here at Levinson, right? We came up with these three, think of a dinner menu, right? So the dinner menu, you sit down and you look at the marketing dinner menu. Okay. Every single option that we offer to our agents is numbered and then a click here for more info. So you don't have to get overwhelmed anymore. Okay. If you want to focus on permanent life insurance, right? You just click, everything is at your fingertips. And then moving over to the middle section, think of this as our lunch menu. Okay. Everything related to new business, right? What happens when I submit this drop ticket electronically or I mail in a 27-page application? What are the next steps? Everything is in front of you, right? And then all the way over to the right, think of our brunch menu here at Levinson, contracting and commissions. And again, everything you need to know is here at your fingertips. So you don't have to get crazy thinking about where am I going to go? Who do I call for what? If you have these three menus in front of you, that is your entire world from A to Z when working with Levinson and Associates. Next slide. What's new here at Levinson? So every week we are pushing the bar, pushing the envelope, innovating, right? Call it whatever you want. We have to make sure we're growing. And what does that mean? It means that we're adding the latest and greatest tools, tech, products, carriers to our platform, right? To bring more and better value add to our agents. Okay, that's it. Proof is in the pudding. So anyway, left-hand side is all carrier incentives. The one I want to point out is Jimmy Buffett's new Margaritaville cruise that is ending the end of this month. You have to have at least 500,000 of fixed indexed annuity premium in the door by the 31st, and you are in 5 days, 4 nights, and we pay for everything. Middle section is all on carrier product updates. And then we're going to move all the way over to the right-hand side. And we'll include this in our thank you email. But what I want to mention real fast is we are coming out with a new 411 newsletter. Next week, we are launching this brand new. We used to do those 411 videos. Now we have more of a newsletter format separated by Levinson, Life, Annuity, and it's all of the carrier updates in one place, like a one-stop shop for everything insurance related. Again, at your fingertips. If there's a new podcast you need to check out, boom, it's in there. New webinar, boom, it's in there. Positive Tuesday quotes, it's in there. So that, again, is going to simplify your world. Our goal for 2023 is to make your life and job easier here in the back office so you can go focus on new clients and generating leads. Okay, that's it. Next slide. Top IUL carriers, and then Tyler is going to take the wheel. What I wanted to point out is we have direct IMO contracts with over 90 life and annuity carriers, okay? And my point is we go out and hand select these companies and products. We don't want to have a Burger King, a McDonald's all on the same corner, right? We want to make sure each company has their own little niche that another company doesn't have. So it's very important for you to know when you're calling our marketing team and we're saying, oh, for IUL, you should really think Allianz. We did our homework. We did our research, and they are the best fit for your specific client. Now, if there's some health issues, whatever, and we have to pivot over to a shave program, we're going to do that for you, okay? But what's most important on this screen in front of you, number one, top IUL carriers that exist. Number two, which ones are Stonewood compliant, right? That's the green asterisk. That means they approved this software system. That's huge because there's no other sales presentation system for IUL that's carrier compliant. That's unbelievable. And that's the reason why we partnered with Stonewood. Also in red, what that means is scholarship approved. So anyone that buys an IUL also gets up to a 1-year free scholarship for their children, grandchildren, blood relative. Why? Because that's a value add of working with Bill Levinson, the South Florida life insurance agent, for example. Okay, you got to be running with this stuff. There's so much value add there. And the way I always look at this, and then I'm going to turn it over. Enough of my ranting. Think about if me and Tyler, right? We're both life insurance agents, right? And we're both pitching the same consumer, right? $1 million of IUL, and I'm using Allianz, and Tyler's using Lincoln, for example. Premium is neck and neck, cash value neck and neck, right? Everything is neck and neck. But maybe they like Tyler a little more than they like me, okay? But now I'm offering this 1-year free scholarship for little Johnny, okay? 1 year, up to $40,000, a free scholarship tuition for 430 plus colleges across the U.S. at no extra premium. They're going to buy from me every single time, okay? Even if they like Tyler a little more, it doesn't matter. They're thinking about little Johnny, okay? Their son, right? Their grandchild who's going to college. So you got to think about this stuff and use these tools as leverage, right? Peel these other agents away, peel these consumers away. Use the tools we offer, especially at no charge. It's a no-brainer. Anyway, next up is Tyler Randall. He is our National Sales Director from Stonewood Financial. We're going to jump into everything you need to know about the software system. We have a cool white paper he's going to discuss in AG49. Tyler, you there, buddy?
Hey, yes, I am here. Thank you for having me.
Yep, we appreciate it.
Good. Yeah, well, that was a great tee up, and thank you for letting the client like me a little bit more than you. That was very kind of you. So I do feel bad I lost the sale to the scholarship, but understandable. I wasn't offering the right stuff. So yeah, I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for joining us. We appreciate your time, and the intent of probably the next 25 minutes or so is to take you through software and marketing that is going to help you do more business in the tax-free space, proven to do so. And it's something that you can tap into and utilize at a discounted rate through Levinson, our partnership. And then I want to take you through the update on AG49, what's happening there and what you need to be aware of. And I'm going to give you an offer if you stay tuned to the end on how you can actually get a white paper through Levinson on the topics we talk about. So I want to hit 3 things here from Stonewood. As I mentioned, we're in the business of helping you do more in the tax-free space. And a lot of times that's IUL that makes a lot of sense. And so we offer really 3 things. A very robust marketing catalog, which includes seminars and books and PowerPoint presentations and social media content that you can use to nurture existing clients and get more business out of them and to prospect with. And then when somebody does say yes, we've built out a software program to make it very simple to show point of sale, the tax-free benefits, the tax savings and income creation you get out of a tax-free. And Stonewood does very extensive training and coaching around all of it, including a live event, which I'll mention. We've got one coming up June 1st and 2nd that is a best practices event that is available to our members. So we break our marketing and software into 2 areas. The baby boomer, which is predominantly conversion planning, people over 60 converting qualified money to the IUL for tax and income purposes. And then the active saver, where we are simply saying to our doctor, lawyer, business owner prospects, that you should consider saving in a tax-free versus or in addition to a qualified account. So what I want to do is take you through an example of each in a case study form and what our software would look like point of sale, so you can get a real life experience on what you might be able to utilize here if you wish. So the first case study is the active saver. We got Sam here. He's 45. He's in the 25% tax bracket, and we have him currently saving pre-tax money in a 401 or a qualified account, could be 403B, and we just want him to consider saving after-tax premium in an IUL. So instead of saving every month pre-tax, paying the taxes and funding an IUL or annually funding the IUL, we always want to say, Sam, is there a tax and income benefit for considering an IUL? So what we would do for Sam is we get in our software and we would put in a return assumption on his 401k, whatever you feel comfortable with. We put in his tax rate, we put in that $13,000 contribution, and we're going to show him two things when it pertains to taxes. Our conversation is always tax first. Is there a tax savings? I'm not even talking product. We're talking taxes, and people get all ears when you can talk about tax savings. So we show them two numbers. One is, what are the tax benefits or the deferred taxes of doing what he's doing right now, putting in $13,000 a year pre-tax? He's going to save about $66,000. I should take that back. He's not going to save anything. He's going to defer $66,000 in taxes for a period of time. But when he gets to retirement, we have him retiring at age 65, like many people do. What are the taxes he's going to pay over his lifetime? What's that number? And that number a lot of people don't get to see, but we want to make sure he knows about it. He's going to pay about 200 grand in taxes over his lifetime. So if you had a report that looks like this, or access to it, where you could say to a client or prospect, Mr. Prospect, Sam, if I could show you a way to avoid that $196,000 in taxes while you spend down your retirement income, would you be open to that idea? Would you like to see it or consider it? And most people, when you couch it like that, will say yes. And of course, if we're reallocating those dollars into a tax-free IUL, we can get them tax-free withdrawals on the spend down period. And now we have somebody's interest. And when we're talking about, saving a significant amount, hundreds of thousands in taxes. So that's our first brush, is the tax brush. The second is an income consideration. Does it make sense from an income standpoint to allocate to an IUL? And so where we have worked with the carriers is to take the important information off of an insurance illustration, plug it into our software, and we can create this one-page report that looks like this versus these 40-page mortgage application type of illustrations that get produced. And it's like, where do we even start? What the heck is in this thing? And even if you in the business know what's in it, does the client really know what's in that 30-page, or do they trust it? What if we could just show them a one-pager like this, where we say, look, if you put 10 grand in a year after tax money, and we put in the credit rate from the IUL and the death benefit and the accumulated value at age 65 and the income it creates, we can tell a pretty nice story. You put 10 grand in for the next 20 years, you will accumulate 344. According to the illustration, it's going to produce 23,000 in income, and you're going to have about $1 million of total benefit. Nice and clean and neat, and people can get their head around it and trust it. So now what we want to do is compare the 401k income. And so in our software, you could put a return assumption. We did 5.8%. Well, this client or prospect, Sam, is accumulating money. And then we did 5.25%. Well, they're spending it down. A lot of people ratchet down the equity exposure in the income phase of life. And we kept them at a flat 25% tax rate. So keeping it simple. So if he contributes $13,000 a year over 20 years, he'll accumulate $452,000. And then what our software does is says, you put in a retirement age and a year that you want him to pass. We have him passing at age 100. And our software just says, okay, if you accumulated $452,000, what's the largest annual withdrawal I could take out of that amount so that I deplete this account at age 100? In other words, this is a maximum income strategy. And the maximum withdrawal from 452 is probably around 22,000 a year. But people don't care about what the gross is. They want to know what they put in their pocket. And what they put in their pocket is about 16,000 a year. And the total benefit's about 590,000. So how does that compare to the IUL? So we create one-page reports like this. And the great thing about the IUL is we get the disclosures from the carriers, so it's compliant for you to use. And we can say, here's your tax-free approach. You're going to produce about $23,000 a year or $1 million of total distributions. And here's your qualified account approach. You're going to be able to withdraw 21 grand a year, but your net income's about 16. And let the numbers speak for themselves. And if you want to use our one pager to really bring this home, you can utilize this. You can print it out, and it just says, here's your current approach, saving pre-tax money. Here's what after-tax means from a tax standpoint. We save you about 130,000, the difference between 196 and 66. Your income jumps from 16,000 to 23,000. Your total benefit over your lifetime goes from 590 to 986. And oh, by the way, if you make one contribution in the IUL, there's a death benefit, 381,000. That if something happens to you prematurely, goes to your family. If you put a $13,000 contribution into a 401k and die, the after-tax amount is very minimal. So very simple way to bring it all home. And I think you can see a compliant way to simplify what we're doing in the tax-free space. So that's one approach. If cost is an issue, you can produce a compliant one-page cost report just like this that shows the average expense of the IUL as a percentage form. And most of the time, the cost is very reasonable. If we say compared to what, most of the time people say, well, my mutual fund's 1% or my 401k is 2%. We can show them a cost that's usually very reasonable compared to what they think is expensive. So that's this active saver and what we're doing from a software standpoint. From the baby boomer, people that have accumulated qualified dollars, we walk through a similar process, but we just talked to them about carving out a piece of their IRA and converting it to a tax-free Roth or IUL over a period of time, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and getting it out of the IRA that's never been taxed. And we walk through a very simple process of evaluation from a tax and income standpoint, just like we did with the active saver. So in our software, you could plug in a growth rate assumption, an expense assumption, a tax forecast. We have this guy starting in the 20% rate and then going up a little bit each year over his lifetime, 25% years 6 to 10, 30% years 11 and beyond. You could make the returns or the tax forecast, whatever you feel comfortable with. I think most people feel like taxes are going up, so we're showing a rising tax rate here. And once we put this in his age, his dollar amount, the $500,000 that we're analyzing, a return assumption, a tax forecast, we can create a very simple tax impact look on a one-page report. We call it our tax burden analysis, and it just shows here's the taxes. If you keep your qualified account, you've got an RMD problem. You're going to pay $271,000 in taxes. If you defer this as long as you can, you still have to start taking mandated RMDs. And you're going to pay almost $300,000 in taxes on $500,000. That may be surprising to someone. If they reinvest RMDs, a lot of times people don't realize they're going to tax you on your gains on a non-qualified account. And if we account for those, it's $129,000 over this guy's lifetime. And then at death, there's a tax of about $228,000 on the remaining balance. Total is probably shockingly to a lot of people more than the value that we're analyzing here, $630,000 in potential taxes on $500,000. If we convert to a tax-free IUL or tax-free Roth, if you wish, Roth annuity is fine. If we could keep them in the 20% rate over this period, 4, 5, 6 year period, we could minimize the taxes down to $100,000. And that's not always going to be the case that we can do that. But if we can structure the conversion properly, it is a possibility to limit the taxes. Even if it's $130,000 or $150,000, what's the tax benefit there? It's still significant. So just know we make it very simple to have a tax conversation. Now I tell you, this is the report that makes people money in the conversion conversation. And if you want to use our worksheet and compare reallocating from 100% deferred where you haven't paid any taxes and you have tax and legislative risk to converting a piece to the IUL means about $500,000 in tax savings here. And that's the first brush, always a tax first approach. And then we can look at the income analysis. On the income side of things, we simply compare the qualified account, what they're doing now, to the IUL. And instead of, again, a 30-page illustration, we can show a one-pager like this. This is a 5-pay, by the way, $80,000 a year. So what we did on this $500,000 sample case is we pulled $100,000 out in year 1. We withheld 20% for taxes. That went to the IRS, and $80,000 went to fund the IUL. We did that for 5 years, and that total premium was about $400,000. The remainder, $100,000, of course, went to taxes. It produces about $49,000 in income and $1.8 million of total benefit. I just put the numbers out on the right-hand side. If you're interested in what a Roth conversion would do or an IRA would do, the current approach, just taking income at age 70, we can run one-pagers on those as well, just to compare them. But the IUL, usually with the participating loans and the death benefit, shows very well. And so from a tax and income standpoint, if we want to bring it all home after we use the software to show the numbers, We can say, look, allocating a third of your portfolio to the tax-free IUL means about $500,000 in tax savings. It means we take our income up on a double, 21 grand to 49 grand, and we double the legacy value. So we're really letting the numbers speak for themselves. And I'm telling a very strong story. And remember, we're talking about just reallocating a portion of someone's qualified account. So we've got a very simple approach for the saver, a very simple approach for the conversion planning process. So if you want to have access to that software and have it be helpful to your business, just contact Levinson and we can help you with the discounted codes available. Want to cover the marketing, and then we'll jump into the AG49 changes. From a marketing standpoint, if you'd like to market these ideas and you want to do a public presentation, we have the PowerPoints built out already. We use the new rules of retirement savings for the active saver. We use the rising tax risk and no compromise if we want to talk about conversion planning, like that second case study. We have a lot of client one-pagers and white papers that you can use. They can be custom to your business and pushed out if you want to put it on your website or drip email campaigns. There's a lot of content there that you can certainly utilize. And if you want to have some help with social media, or you'd like to use what we call our retirement tax build program, where we build out a custom landing page for you, where your logo and info would be on here. And this page just asks a very simple question: is your tax bill in retirement too big? Find out in 30 seconds. And the way our members are using this is to push it out to their lead base or to their current clients and say, take 30 seconds and run your calculation and see if there isn't a tax savings that we should talk about. And it's the same example. If somebody puts $500,000 and 60 into this calculator and presses see my bill, what pops up on their screen is their total taxes with their existing approach and the total potential taxes with adjustments. So we're getting some little bit of shock and awe here that, man, there's about 300 grand in tax savings. Yes, I need to talk to the advisor that sent this to me, and they can click on your calendar link and schedule a meeting. What also happens, their call to action is to check their email, and there's a report that gets generated that is emailed from you to the client or prospect that outlines that report that we just looked at, and it invites them to a short call with you. So this is something that's automated. It's an efficient way to open the conversion conversation, and if you like that, you can put it out on social media, you can push it out to your client base. Anybody who runs a report shows up in your Stonewood dashboard to follow up. If you want to put a button like this out on your website or social media, you can do that. And anybody who runs a report shows up as a lead for you. And we have a whole playbook on how to do this. But I just want to introduce that there's an efficient way to have this conversation with clients and tee it up if you wish. And one last thing that we've added to our marketing suite that's, I think, going to be one of the most relevant topics over the next probably 12 months to 18 months is our legislative risk toolkit, which is how Washington can affect your retirement account, not just through tax rate increases, but also through changing the rules on retirement accounts like we've seen through the Secure Act. So we've built out seminars and email campaigns and client-facing brochures and videos that you can use to market out to get people started in a conversation around protecting their account from Washington or Congress changing the rules on our IRAs. So that content is available and also ready to go. If you decide to come on as a Stonewood member, we do take you through a custom onboarding, show you how to customize the reports with your logo and info, as well as the marketing material. We help you with case design and help. We're just an extension of Levinson and their team. And we do offer a live event, our Innovate IUL conference. And that's coming up June 1st and 2nd. It is just a best practices of how to use the market, how to use the software, how to overcome objections, how to story sell. We just tell, our advisors that are doing, multi-millions in target premium and hundreds of thousands in target and annuity business. We just talk about best practices for everything we just hit in the last 20 minutes or so. So that's an event that's included in your membership. We'd love to have you attend June 1st and 2nd again in Louisville, Kentucky. If you'd like to get more information on that, circle back with Levinson and they can help provide you more information. So that's really the content around the sales and marketing tools available at Stonewood. And what I wanted to transition into a little bit here is what's happening with the AG49. And I want to offer up some insight into that, the AG49 bill, and then also let you know that we do have a white paper on this that I think if you spend some time with it, you'll get to a good sense of what's happening with these changes. So just for those of you, you probably have heard about it. It's been being kicked around quite a bit. But effective May 1st of this year, IUL sales illustrations have to adhere to a new revised set of standards, and these standards are AG49B. AG49B is expanding on the standards that were laid out in AG49, which is in 2015, and AG49A, which happened in 2020. So you've probably heard this a few times now, but what they have done is expanded on these standards. So I think here's what's important to remember is these regulations only impact sales illustrations only. So I'm gonna say that again, because I think this is the takeaway if you hear anything on this, is that AG49B is really impacting illustrations only. These new standards do not impact actual performance on IULs. And I think that's important. So really it's, as I view it, giving us as agents in this industry the ability to underpromise and overdeliver is what's happening. So here's what we need to know, and I think these are kind of the takeaways, is that AG49B is going to be very conservative, and in many cases, the illustrated rates will be significantly lower than the past performance we're accustomed to. Again, illustrated rates. And this means that illustrations are no longer really a very good projection of likely performance. It is very likely that our IULs are going to outperform the illustrated value. So I think that's one key takeaway there. So again, we're really in a spot where we're going to underpromise and overdeliver, which I think is probably a positive for us in this business. And because of this, it's going to be hard to compare things like IULs and the potential income from it to other products like IRAs, because IRAs are not handicapped by anybody saying this is the rate you have to illustrate. They are not handicapped that way. And so I think it'll be important for us to understand that the IULs could outperform and probably will outperform the illustrated rates. So it's not really going to be an apples to apples comparison any longer. So how does it affect the IUL specifically? It's going to affect it in three ways, and these are the things that you probably need to know about. One is that the max illustrated rate is going to be affected. So one key goal of AG49B was to limit the illustrated projections when a controlled or targeted volatility index is used. So that's key, because those started to become pretty popular. The reforms that they made are really the assumed credit rates are going to be lower when you're using one of these indexes. Now, the new regulation and the maximum illustrated rates that can be used from an S&P point-to-point credit options will stay the same. So if you've been using that, you're probably not going to see it as much. But if you've been using these target volatility indexes, we're probably going to see an assumed credit rate that is lower in those cases. Okay, so that's number one thing to really understand is maximum illustrated rates as it compares to especially the target volatility index or controlled volatility indexes. The second thing that we should know is the bonus structure. And so AG49B really maintains the prohibition that was passed under AG49A regarding illustrating the impact of most interest crediting bonuses. And that's currently bonuses that are expressed as a percentage of the underlying interest credit. Even if such percentage are guaranteed in the policy, they can't be illustrated. Now, the exception to this is if, and this is kind of an exception to the rule, is if there is a flat bonus that's added to the annual credit rate, that's going to still be illustrated. So depending on the product that you're using, the bonus is probably going to be affected most as it regards to interest crediting bonuses. And that is something to really be aware of. So number one, how the maximum illustrates are credited and the indexes that are affected and the bonuses that are affected. The last thing that I think I want to hit here that you need to be aware of that's going to be affected in the IUL is the participating loan spreads. And so AG49B continues to restrict maximum spreads in participating loans that AG49A talked about. And these restrictions are going to be limited, going to limit really the illustrated spreads to 0.5%, 0.5%, even if historical data shows it to be much higher, which we know, they're going to be limited to that 0.5%. And in all cases, these restrictions only apply again, and I'm going to hit this again because I think it's important, is the illustrated value at the time of sales. They don't impact the actual value of to the policyholder, and that's really what's crucial. Again, the way I'm thinking about it is we're kind of being forced to underpromise and over-deliver, which I think is a good thing, and probably will help our industry more than it will hurt it. But nothing is going to change in terms of likely IUL performance or policy performance, and I think those are the three big things. So as of May 1st, just to kind of recap, AG49B went into place as kind of an addition to AG49A, and we're really taking away how those will affect the max illustrated rates, especially controlled or volatility targeted indexes, the bonuses, especially regarding those interest crediting bonuses, not so much the flat bonuses that are added annually, and then the participating loan spread is going to be illustrated at 0.5%. So what I want to offer to everybody on this call, if you said, man, Tyler, that's a lot of info, and I need to dig down into it a little bit more, get a hold of Levinson, and we're going to give you the impact of the AG49B in this white paper. They can get it out to you, and we also have a white paper on the fiduciary role of IUL in a client's portfolio. I think it's becoming more and more important as we used to see how annuities became so ingrained and part of an income plan over a period of years. I think we're going to see the fiduciary role have a tax-free nature, and this white paper helps support that. So a couple of things there, the impact of AG49B white paper, contact Levinson on that. And then the fiduciary role of IUL in a client portfolio, we also have a white paper there. So a couple of things that you guys may be interested in. And of course, if you'd like to dig down deeper on the marketing and the software that we talked about that can assist you point of sale and generating more leads and interest for you, of course, circle back to Levinson and we can make sure that we schedule some demos or get you up and running if you're ready to get going on that. So really, again, appreciate all your time today. I hope that gave you some insight into some of the software marketing that's available to help your business do more business in the tax-free space and some of the impact that we're seeing on IULs and how they're going to be illustrated a little bit more conservatively, under promise, over deliver as we move forward throughout the remainder of this year. And I really think that probably carriers are going to find ways to control the levers to get us into a more realistic performance throughout time, but it may take a little bit of time as that works, as AG49 works its way into carrier and product design. So appreciate you having us on, Bill, and if we can do anything for you, be of service, please circle back to Levinson and let us know. We're glad to be a partner here with you, and so appreciate you being on the call today.
Thank you, Tyler. That was spot on. And by the way, I'm sure a lot of you have questions, comments. I see some coming in as we're speaking. So we're going to get to every single person as soon as we hang up. And if we need to circle Tyler back in, we'll do that as well. So that was fantastic, very informative. And like I said, we're going to send a thank you email out with all of the information about Stonewood. And then once you're an active agent with us, with an IUL company, unless you already are, then we'll send out the entire turnkey kit. So no problem there. And then, of course, we'll share the Stonewood info as well for the conference and everything else. Okay, so how to get started. The first slide here is if you first log into our new website, and then you just hover over the contracting tab, and then boom, everything will come up in front of you. And then if you have an existing contract that you transfer over to Levinson, as soon as you pay for your first app, we match, or most of the time beat, your commissions, plus we'll give you free leads with your first paid app or cash for contracting. So you get to pick. And also, you just saw the list of the direct IMO companies. So all of these come into play when we're talking about cash for contracting and leads for contracting. Right hand side, if you want to check out the Stonewood software system and then everything else that we have to offer when it comes to IUL, we have a IUL microsite. If you go over to step 2, it'll say sales software, and then you'll see the arrow, and then everything comes up in front of you. We even have an incentive where if you write a minimum amount of IUL premium, we pay for the entire Stonewood platform for you, complimentary. Okay, so ask any one of our marketers about that program as well. Next up, we actually teamed up with iPipeline. We were a pilot and a first ever agency for the IUL quoting system, right, available on our site for free. And then what's so neat about this, if you go into our quoting engine and you run an IUL quote, all of the information that you put in for that prospect or client will get integrated directly into the e-app or drop ticket, okay, depending on the carrier. So it's a 1-2 punch, very streamlined, very simple, and we're one of the only IMOs that has that today where it's free for you, the agent. So you got to leverage this stuff, take advantage, or ask any one of our marketers. So leads, right? Leads is literally the first, well, I would say leads and commissions, the number 1 and 2 questions that come in from new agents. And commission-wise, we have direct IMO contracts, so there's not 22 pieces of the pie taken out, right? There's not a GA in front of you and an MGA and an MGA4 and an MGA 17B. It's you, us, the carrier, okay? So very simple. All renewals are paid directly to you from the carrier. There's no surprises, no gray area. You don't have to depend on Levinson. So very, very simple. And then as far as leads, so we vet out the top lead companies, okay? And as we all know, there's not a perfect lead company that exists today, right? If there was, everybody would be selling insurance using these leads, but it doesn't exist. So if you find a good one, you got to run with it, okay? And I would say 7 to 8 out of 10 is considered awesome in our industry. So number 1, I always encourage you to generate your own leads, right? We have coaching. If you want to run your own Facebook ads, these IUL books are great to hand out, especially for birthdays, anniversaries, the holidays, whatever. Okay, this tees up an IUL appointment and sale, like I mentioned earlier. Okay, and by the way, leave the review and you get a free copy. Okay, or if you answer if you're the first agent that answers the question correctly, you'll also get the copy and Relentless. So I'm going to double up on that one. Just under that is our mailer program. So this is pretty neat. We have one of the only mailers that I've seen that incorporates financial services and annuities. So this typically turns out to be an FIA or IUL sale that come out of these leads. So very, very cool concept, neat mailer. It's a co-op discounted rate of $600. That includes everything for 1,000 mailers with your return address. So everything comes back to you. Top right-hand corner is our mortgage protection mailer. And then on the bottom right corner, that's the lead program that Ian was mentioning. He was on our agent panel at the expo. Those work awesome. They're $1 million no exam life leads. Okay, hello, that's $1 million IUL sale or potential, right? That's when you're going to pivot and talk about cash value, retirement planning, right? Tax saving strategies. You know how to do this, folks. Anyway, we have a discounted price as well, $30 if you're willing to work the state, $40 if you're willing to work within 50 miles of your zip code or area code. So very important. Those work fantastic. When we talk about there's no perfect lead program, but if you find a 7 or 8 out of 10, I would say that's as good as you're going to get with the bottom right corner. $1 million, no exam life leads. Let's keep moving along. Okay, Ringy. So you have all these great tools and you have Stonewood and these IUL prospecting books, right? You're ready to go and we are at the starting gate. Now, you need to get the word out, right? We had a lunch meeting yesterday with some of our agents from Pennsylvania, and we're talking about, and this is an agent that works with his son. The son is 19 years old, and he's very tech savvy, very good on the computer. And I said, guys, You, meaning the father, focus on the day-to-day sales, be the front man, make it happen. And I said, your son should be focusing on the CRM tools, sending out these email drips, keeping your name in front of your clients, family, friends, network, everyone, right? You got to get the word out. And if you can prove the concept, right, in a small town in Coral Springs, Florida, then you can do it in Daytona Beach, in Georgia, in Texas, in California, in Arizona, right? We know how that works, but you need to lay the foundation. The foundation is a CRM tool, a follow up system. That's where Ringy comes in. I can't push it enough. We don't make a penny on this. In fact, you get 55% off for the first 6 months because you're 11th an agent if you're active, or there's no obligation. You can literally sign up for a 2-week free trial. And you heard Ian talk about this too, so it's not just me. This system works amazing. I don't care what insurance products or annuities you're focused on. This is a no-brainer. I would definitely check out our webinars and podcasts we did on Ringy. Okay, next up is I promised you all every week I would personally go on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and find the top performing ads, insurance ads or posts that you can use. I always say don't reinvent the wheel, just change a few spokes. Well, that's what we did here, okay? And that's what I'm trying to show you, proof in the pudding, top left corner, top post for IUL insurance. This is just a cute little picture. When your client says they'll buy term and invest the difference, right? We all know where we heard this. Dave Ramsey, the point is that is incorrect. You need to start thinking about cash accumulation with IUL. And then the little ad under there talks all about IUL benefits. So on the right-hand side, this is a great eye-opener example. The hardest goodbyes are the ones you don't see coming, the ones you don't plan or could never imagine happening, right? The point is be prepared, buy life insurance, and then boom, you have your little ad under that post. The next one I thought was interesting. And again, this is just for ideas. How does IUL work, right? Because most people, you have to remember, they don't know. They're not inside the four walls. They're outside. They hear IUL. It sounds like a different language. So this agent, Marina, just put together some facts on how IUL works, and even in the worst economy ever, how zero is your hero, and there's guarantees now. And by the way, there's even products that have a 3%, 4% guarantee, so you can make this even spicier. But check this out, okay? This created 22 comments. Every comment is a new lead, folks, and that was free for her to post. So you got to think about this, strategize, get scrappy. On the right-hand side, what are the benefits of IUL? Very simple, right? Very user-friendly, layman's terms. Unlimited contribution, tax-free growth, use it anytime, a death benefit, loan availability, just some very basic information. That one had 180, it was over 180 likes. But anyway, every person that comments or likes is a new prospect, a new lead for you to reach out to through a private message or direct message. You got to start thinking like this. Okay, next up is our podcast. So this month we have a fantastic upcoming episode with the Hill Financial Group. I'm excited about this. He was actually at our expo, and I heard him speak. We actually did an interview on camera, and I said, man, I would love to have you on the podcast. Other agents would love to hear your story, tips for success, all the above. That's going to be cool. And then, of course, Rashad Perryman from the Tampa Bay Bucks. He caught Tom Brady's 400th touchdown pass record. So it's a very cool story. You heard me talk about this at the expo as well. We had an issue with the software, but we turned a negative into a positive. So that one you will be listening to I would say in the next couple of weeks we'll have that launch. But number 2 is coming out this month. It's going to be very exciting. Upcoming training. So that's what you're on right now. So this is kind of cool in the bottom section in blue. So we have Beth from our office in-house, right? She's got a great marketing and website, social media background. So we're going to have her on, right, with us, with our team, and we're going to talk all about a turnkey marketing in a box strategy. Right? So it doesn't matter what part of the industry you're focused on. This talks all about driving online traffic, right? Through social media, through a CRM tool, website, how to create the sizzle, ads, all the above for any insurance agent, right? And we're also going to talk about all of the tools we have to help you accomplish this. So marketing in a box on the 25th, very excited. It's going to be a first ever here at Levinson. Our last slide here in our question of the day. And before I do that, I want to point out our Positive Tuesday quote on the left-hand side. By the way, talk about proof in the pudding, right? You don't have to listen to what we say. Watch what we do and do the same thing. All we're doing is marketing and planting the seed, which is what you should be doing. We're doing it with agents. You're doing it for consumers. That's simple, okay? Be thankful for the negative, unappreciative, and unmotivated people in your life. They show you exactly who you don't want to be. Keep your distance, okay? We all know how this works. Go out, be relentless, make it happen, get scrappy, right? Listen to our webinars, podcasts, watch what we do. Our question of the day. I hope you were paying attention. I hope your little fingers are on your keyboard and you're ready to answer first. Question is, I just spoke about the Bill Levinson Experience podcast in May. Who was our guest speaker? So for the May Bill Levinson Experience podcast episode, who is our guest speaker? You tell me, and you win. Andrew is seeing who answered first and correctly, and he will share your name in just a second. Andrew? Do we have a winner?
Okay, we have Sal P. Sal P.
Sal P. Congratulations, Sal P. Like Paul, congrats. The answer, Hill Financial Group, is our featured guest speaker in May, Bill Levinson Experience podcast. With that said, thank you, Tyler. Thank you, everyone who attended today, and I hope you walked away with a nugget or two that will help change your practice. Let's have a great rest of the week, a great weekend, great selling. We'll see you next week, and thank you again, everyone.